Welcome back to the City Stay in True to Yourself podcast. Our goal is to facilitate the necessary discussion of how to stay true to yourself. Our vision is to promote and stimulate thought to restore culture and self-determination. We facilitate discussions to value the self and community through scholarships and creative dialogues. This is a movement that promotes and displays conscious uniqueness and addresses the methods of valuing self and community. We are all individuals, but our experiences and emotions are unique to yourself. To join the movement, follow us on Instagram at SITTY and check out the website to join the movement at www.staytrue2yourself.com. What up? So today, before I get into the topic of this episode, I would like to give a shout out to a podcast that has no filter. It's all organic, all natural. You never know where it's going to go. All the guests on there have a great story, and the host always finds a way to get juicy with it. So check out the Unscripted Perspective by Phil Parker on all podcast platforms. Be on the lookout for some exciting unscripted perspectives. Alright, so now, in today's episode, I want to delve into a little bit of the importance of creative expression, kind of the art of expression, the essence of creativity. I bring up this topic because of how vital it is to everyday life. You know, of the thousands of thoughts you have daily, most of them are largely due to unchanging routines, either at school, either at work, or whatever environment you're surrounded with. Sometimes it can seem that tending to some responsibilities can leave like little room for creative expression. But that's why I'm here kind of to let you know it very much is innate of you of actually being creative in your expression. And pretty much all the things we do, it requires some sense of creative expression. Additionally, it can greatly benefit your progression in breaking that mechanical thought that you're always stuck in. You know, creative expression is a way of having positive outlets that counteract the effects of stress, but also strengthen your personal resilience. For example, let's look at a global creative expression, which everybody knows about. Music. Music is an art. It's a form of expression. It's a way of creating connection. Imagine when you're listening to a song, it ignites emotion, which leads to the release of dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical for the brain. You don't really need to be a musician to appreciate the creative expression of any artist, but the fact that you're engaging with it, it's actually a form of you expressing yourself in your own creative way. So the creative expression of music connects how people process rhythm and how they think and act. Another form of creative expression can be drawing, painting, writing. These activities stimulate to express yourself, to feel that emotion you desire. For example, let's look at some creatives that are currently like trending. First one I can think about right now is Kanye West. Kanye is a living icon that uses his creativity for himself, but yet at the same time it creates connection and people can resonate with him in some form of sense. Even though, he might say things that people don't agree with or do something, or people might create all these stigmas attached to him, he is still using his own form of creative expression that shows he is in tune with understanding and addressing how he feels and desires. That's his mechanical approach. Is he's an artist, but he has his own process of how he's going to articulate that and creates his own product from it. This can also be like relative to like athletes, actors, designers, fashion models, even Instagram influencers, TikTokers, Snapchatters. Anything that is giving an individual the ability to express themselves is a form of creative expression, because it breaks up the tedious routines and it cultivates a part of a personality. I know that when you can say express or expression can be ambiguous, and at times cannot always mean the same thing, but there is a parallel because it is a process of the product, of the final outcome. As a matter of fact, when someone expresses like anger, right, they might throw something or punch something. Not saying that that is the best way to deal with it, but in a perfect ordinary sense, it is a form of expression. It can be pertained to being their creative way of exhibiting their feelings and thoughts. Not saying that I'm agreeing to doing it that. All I'm saying is that it is a form of expressing something. Even though it might have, little to do with art, like punching something or throwing something when you're angry, it's still expressing, or better said, you're letting go, which is still a form of creative expression, as I believe so. Now let's look at it like in art. Expression is a method of bending into your way of developing and creating this process that leads to a product. It's been said by like theorists and philosophers, which I'm not going to name because I don't want to mess up anything, that there is a distinction between natural release from an expression. But I would honestly have to disagree, because I believe in anything that we do, there is some form of creative expression. Like I said earlier, like athletes, right? When you see athletes playing, there's a mechanics in how they play the sport. But not every player plays the same. Each player has their attributes of creative expression that enhance that sport, the team, and the specific athlete. It's honestly kind of just relative to like acting. Each character has their own way of delivering, their own way of presence, and their own way of creating what they're supposed to be mechanically doing. And you can think about each scene of a movie. Each scene is developed by the director and producer because they invigorate some sense of connection to how they feel about the scene and create a product. They have a process in which they include their creativity in it. That's where their creative expression comes in to create that product. Even when think about creating an airplane, like some really sophisticated stuff. These are mechanics to creating or building an airplane, but it does really require some form of creative expression, because for an airplane engineer to put the mechanics together, their creative side is in need of stimulation to allow them to understand the process that they have to conduct through to have that final product, which is the airplane. So, well, if so far you're listening to this, you might, disagree to some of the things I said. But the reason you might disagree is because you have your own form of expression, which is to be appreciated and accepted. Let me say that again. Even though you disagree to this, the reason you disagree is because you have your own form of expression, which is not to be judged. It is to be accepted and appreciated, because that's your own form of creating your own way of expressing. Even though we have a mechanics of doing it, there's still that form of individuality in going through that mechanical process. The whole purpose pretty much is, I want you guys to understand that creative expression is essential to the daily mechanics of processes, because if there's no creative expression, there's no product. And I honestly believe that 100%. I will end this by saying, Maya Angelou once said that you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Also, Albert Einstein said, creativity is intelligence having fun. So, I believe creative expression gives a boost of positivity, and being creative can be as simple as just busting out your routine. So, as I come to an end here, I want you to think about the process to product. Your daily mechanics of process and how your creative expression comes into play. Anyways, trust in yourself and maintain reassurance that you can do it. As always, stay in true to yourself, pursue your dream, and seize the day. Peace out.